Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Alternate History of the World. Let's get into it. So last episode we saw World War II. Yeah. Let's start today over here in the Scandinavian region. Because, well, these areas are being pushed back a lot. And because of that, these Scandinavian areas and Finland will fall. As the Chinese and the Germans are continuing to push towards the capital of the Soviets, which is Moscow. The Chinese are coming from the east, and the Germans are coming from the west, as they will both meet up over in Moscow, and eventually they can start fighting each other. But the Soviets will fall, as more and more areas will start to fall. Eventually, well, Soviet Union is gone. Yeah. And, well, Asia, or Eurasia, or is just divided between these three alliances: the Chinese alliance, the Ottomans, and the Germans. The Chinese will be able to continue pushing back against the Indian areas in Germany, as they will be. No, the Indian countries that are part of the German alliance is what I mean, as they will be beating them back. And eventually they will be forcing them to surrender, as Germany took all the resources. Now they can fully focus on the Germans and the Ottomans. The Ottomans are very powerful, though, so they will be able to push back greatly. As they've gained support around the world, they feel like good for themselves. As, well, the Triangle Alliance is going to be being beaten back in Africa, as the Germans will be making a defensive line over with China, and will be attempting to, well, try to get as much of Africa back as possible before the entire world blows itself up. Oh wait, it already did. Yeah. Really? Nuclear bombs? Might be useful to have this on. But the Ottomans are still extremely powerful, even with the nukes. So they will be able to push in and take more Egyptian areas of Africa, as more and more spots in Africa start to support the Ottoman Empire. And all this Horn of Africa area breaks away from the Ottomans, or just breaks away from the Triangle Alliance and joins up with the Ottomans. And with these areas, more and more areas of Libya will start to be liberated. But then a deal is made between the Germans and the Chinese. Let's stop fighting. We can divide the areas ourselves. This is the map before the... This is very different. But what can happen is we will surrender all these areas, and I get all these areas. We basically work together to start the Triangle Alliance in the Americas and the Ottomans. So that's what they do. And the Chinese would be sending troops over to Africa, as they would be able to take Madagascar and make a huge landing over in the southern parts of Africa, and would be able to take more areas of South Africa, and eventually take this entire giant coastline with the strongest military in the world now. Not as strong as Germany anymore. But the Ottomans will remake their landing in Europe and take Istanbul, and will be continuing or just starting another push in Greece, as they will be able to capture the Greek areas, and continue to move up, capturing Crimea, and continue to push against Germany greatly over in the Balkan theater, as they would be able to do all this damage with a secret weapon that the Ottomans have. It's very powerful. It's said to be from the future. And Alex Einstein, the leader of Germany, realizes that one of his machines, his super weapon that only works in the future, he brought it here, but it doesn't work. No, it's gone. Then he realizes the Ottomans used that technology that isn't anywhere else in the world, and made it so they were able to get the best weapons in the existence in human history so far. That's how the Ottomans are so powerful. And they're able to greatly push back the Chinese in India. Yeah. And, well, what is a new deal is going to be made. The Ottoman deal is what it's going to be called. A deal between the Triangle Alliance, the Chinese, and the Germans. This deal is basically the Triangle Alliance gets Africa, the Germans get Europe, China gets Asia and Oceania, the Triangle Alliance also gets America, and we work together to divide up the Middle East. Basically, they're all going to work together to defeat the Ottomans. And this deal is signed, and now it's the whole world against the Ottoman Empire. With the millions of troops, despite the superior weapons, the Triangle Alliance's main focus is all of their troops are towards this theater. The Germans, all their troops are here, and the Chinese, all their troops are here. The Ottomans are being encircled. The Triangle Alliance will be able to capture the Horn of African areas and continue pushing into Libya. As the Germans will be able to recapture the Crimean Peninsula and like this, and will be able to push the Ottomans out of Europe, and will be having a majority of their troops over in the Caucasian region and blitzing this region, making sure not a single Ottoman troop is here. The Ottomans are still very successful in India, as there is a lot of propaganda going on over here as well. Indian people believe that the Chinese do not belong here, so that the Ottomans should be here. Yeah, but they are sacrificing land in Central Asia in order to go ahead and get that Indian land, which is more valuable than Central Asian land. Yeah, the Ottomans will be able to take out all of these Indian areas and are making a spearhead towards Beijing. The Ottomans, if they can knock out Beijing, then they knock out all of this. Then they quickly be able to get out Africa and eventually defeat the whole world. So, they are spending a majority of their troops on the front lines here as one last-ditch effort to beat the impending force of all of the alliances. As the Ottomans get pushed back to Egypt, their capital is being threatened by Germany greatly. And the capital in Ankara, I think, is like here, roughly. And, yeah. The Ottoman troops are continuing to push towards Beijing. At least they think they are. Though they are. But they still do sacrifice their troops as the Germans make it past the Caucasian Mountains and start to threaten their capital very much. They land in Istanbul and take these regions. And their capital, in Ankara, is threatened, as the Germans will be continuing. So, the recording all one gone, but I'm back. Basically, it looks the same, other than this. So, what was happening was the capital of the Ottoman Empire is being encircled, as the Germans fully encircle the capital of the Ottoman Empire, which is Ankara. But the Ottomans, being a country, know that their capital is very important, so they unencircle it. Yeah. Talking about this thing here, they have sacrificed many troops. There's 20 million troops heading to Beijing, Ottoman troops in Beijing right now. 20 million. And they eventually reach Beijing and capture the city. But there's something very unexpected. On the day that they capture the city, a huge blast destroys Beijing. And, well, what happens is a giant nuclear bomb destroys the city. Then after that, China reveals that that was not their capital. This was a disguised capital over in Beijing. The real capital was here in Taiwan, a place that hadn't gotten exploded by the nuclear bombs. And because of this, 20 million Ottoman troops gone. And all of the Ottoman captured lands in China just surrender over to the Chinese. The Ottomans have lost 90% of their arsenal. And, well, this is not good at all. The Ottomans will be able to push back towards the capital region, though, until the Germans go ahead and capture the capital of the empire and will be blitzing the country. So the Ottomans are going to decide to move their capital to the center of Mesopotamia. And what the Triangle Alliance is going to do is they're going to blitz the Middle East. as they capture areas and make many landings across the Arabian Peninsula, capturing the entirety of the Red Sea area, and will just be destroying the Ottomans. And the Ottomans only having 2 million troops left to the arsenal. Keep in mind, there is 25 million troops coming from Germany, 35 million coming from the Triangle Alliance, and 40 million coming from the Chinese. That's 90 million troops coming against 2 million. So all these, 2 million troops are forced to surrender or just leave their territories. But somehow, Ottoman fleets for some reason, decide to go up north. Well, 1.9 million out of the 2 million arsenal guys just are here stuck, and they get captured. Now the Ottomans, you only have about 100,000 troops left to fight for your empire, and well, civilians are being forced to fight in the Ottoman Empire, and it's not so good, as the armies are rebelling. Many of them are joining the German armies, and now there's only 10,000 troops left in the nation. As well, all of these nations, all these fronts go against the 10,000 troops. 90 million troops going against 10,000. I don't think you're doing very well in the Ottoman Empire. But eventually, Germany captures the capital of the Ottoman Empire, officially forcing the Ottomans to surrender and officially ending World War II. And that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Alternate History of the World. See you next episode where we look at the peace treaty for World War II. Bye!